We cannot begin to plan for the future without recognizing the history of the land on which we stand. Let us first acknowledge that the land now known as Solano County is the traditional land of the Patwin people, who remain alive, flourishing, and committed members of our communities to this day. Aware that every resident of Solano County has, and continues to benefit greatly from, the use and occupation of this land, and consistent with our values of diversity and inclusion, we urge greater understanding and learning of Native histories and cultures as we look to build the future.
And I remember coming home and, then my grandma asked me to talk Indian to me, and I told her, Grandma, I don't understand you. She says, then who are you? I went, my name's Billy. She said, your name's not Billy. She said, your name is Tatum. That's who you are. That's your name. And I went, not what they told me.
Unacceptable!
In case you haven't heard, the bridge tolls are going up. Again. That's right. Tolls on all 7 Bay Area bridges will be rising to $7 starting on the 1st of January in 2022. This includes the Antioch Bridge, the Bay Bridge, the Benicia Martinez Bridge, the Carquinez Bridge, the Dumbarton Bridge, the Richmond San Rafael Bridge, and the San Mateo Hayward Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is not included as it is managed by a separate district. But why is it even going up? In 2017, the state legislature passed Senate Bill 595, which authorized the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, or MTC, to put a proposed toll increase on the ballot for the 2018 primaries. MTC is the Bay Area's Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, which works with the Association of Bay Area Governments to coordinate regional transportation and housing policy across the 9 counties. Following the passage of SB 595, MTC placed Regional Measure 3 on the 2018 primaries ballot. Regional Measure 3 proposed a staggered $3 toll increase to fund major transportation projects throughout the region. To pass, a majority of Bay Area voters needed to approve it. Per Regional Measure 3, bridge tolls would increase from $5 to $6 in 2019, $6 to $7 in 2022, and $7 to $8 in 2025. This measure is the third in a series of bridge toll hikes used to fund major projects throughout the region. Regional Measure 1 was first approved in 1988, and Regional Measure 2 passed in 2004. Regional Measure 3 does not pay for the bridges, but rather different transportation projects throughout the region. An expenditure plan was passed by the state legislature in 2017. This plan was presented to voters as part of the ballot measure in 2018. The money would be used to fund major projects throughout the Bay Area, many of which also benefit Solano County residents. These include new BART cars, BART to Silicon Valley, SMART to Windsor and Healdsburg, and Caltrain's downtown extension into San Francisco. In Solano, specific projects that were explicitly labeled for funding include the I-80-I-680 Highway 12 Interchange Project and the I-80 westbound truck skills in Fairfield. Regional Measure 3 also provides money for funding programs that Solano County is also eligible for, including Highway 37 improvements, Vallejo Station Phase B, which would open the door for new development to start on Vallejo's waterfront, and the I-80 Managed Lanes project. In the urban planning world, tolls are an easy economic tool to disincentivize driving and promote alternate modes of transportation. Countries like Singapore and cities like London incorporate measures like congestion pricing to reduce traffic and encourage people to walk, bike, and take transit. Regional Measure 3 provides a way for bridge tolls to keep up with inflation, while also making it more feasible for commuters to ditch their car and take transit instead. The toll increases both disincentivize single-occupant driving and improve other modes to make them more efficient, effective, and appealing. For example, a Solano resident commuting to work in San Francisco may be more willing to take improved ferry service funded by Regional Measure 3 than pay 2 bridge tolls and sit in traffic for hours. We all don't like having to pay more to get around. However, some would argue that Regional Measure 3 hurts some more than others. In particular, Regional Measure 3 has the potential to disproportionately charge low-income Bay Area residents who are displaced from their homes in the inner Bay Area and are now forced to commute longer distances from cities farther away to get to their jobs. To address this, the Bay Area Toll Authority may want to take a similar approach to other means-based discount programs used throughout the region. Clipper Start, which gives discounted transit fares to low-income households via a special Clipper card, provides a possible model for such a program. Currently, the Bay Area Infrastructure Financing Authority is developing a pilot program to allow for means-based discounts on the region's express lanes, called Fast Track Start. This would allow qualifying low-income households to receive a discount on I-880 express lanes, and if successful, could be expanded to the rest of the region. A future expansion of Fast Track Start to the region's bridges could also possibly mitigate the impact of Regional Measure 3 on those who may be affected the most. Additionally, many Solano residents have also argued that toll increases like the ones put in place by Regional Measure 3 hurt Solano County the most. Solano County has historically been the Bay Area's most affordable county, with over a third of the Solano workforce commuting to cities where a toll is required. Those traveling to San Francisco and cities on the peninsula even have to pay 2 bridge tolls, although they do get a small discount. Because of this, it is no surprise that Solano voted heavily against Regional Measure 3, with 70% of voters voting no. Additionally, even though the toll hikes affect Solano residents the most, some argue that many of the projects funded by Regional Measure 3 mostly benefit San Francisco and Silicon Valley residents who don't have to cross the bridge and pay tolls. These include the many BART extensions, like BART to San Jose and eBART, along with Caltrain's downtown extension. When looking at the final certified results of Regional Measure 3, East Bay counties and Solano were the most against the proposal, likely as they have to cross the bridges the most. Contra Costa was the only other county to firmly vote no, at 55%. Alameda voted slightly in favor of the measure. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Santa Clara, Marin, and San Mateo, the wealthiest counties least affected by the tolls, were much more in favor of Regional Measure 3. This then begs the question, is it right for Solano County residents to have to pay the toll when most of the funding goes to bigger projects on the peninsula and in the South Bay? Is it equitable? In an attempt to reverse Regional Measure 3, 2 lawsuits have been filed challenging the Bay Area Toll Authority, or BATA, and Senate Bill 595. One case, titled Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association vs. Bay Area Toll Authority, argues that the bridge toll increase is not a toll, but rather a tax. Per Proposition 26's amendment to the California Constitution, taxes must be approved by a 2/3 supermajority in the legislature. As of last year, no new news is available on this case. Lily Budden, author for the Daily Cal, says that MTC's acting director of legislation and public affairs, Rebecca Long, told the newspaper that the timeline for the California State Supreme Court hearing is uncertain, and that the current case progress also depends on an outstanding court decision for Zolli versus the City of Oakland, a reference case that cites Proposition 26 in regard to city waste collection. Speaking about the effect of the litigation on the planned expenditures, MTC spokesperson John Goodwin told the North Bay Business Journal last year that this will grind through the courts at least another year. It may be a couple of years. Time is money, and prices tend to go one way. But wait, if there's a lawsuit going on, then where's the money going? Great question. All tolls collected are to be held in a Union Bank escrow account managed by the Mitsubishi United Financial Group. A bank trust officer will manage the funds until all litigation is resolved. If BATA prevails in the cases, then the money will be used to fund the projects and programs outlined in SB 595. If they lose, however, then the money would be reimbursed back to the toll payers. Overall, Regional Measure 3 is a very complex and controversial topic. The tolls, if BATA wins, will fund a lot of good and important projects, including many in our own backyard. However, Solano does also pay a lot of the cost. Ultimately, your stance on Regional Measure 3 depends on what your priorities are and what you want to see for the future of the Bay Area. Also remember to vote. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to Solano Futuro if you want to hear more about development in Solano County, and hit the bell to be instantly notified whenever we upload a new video. And of course, be sure to visit Solano Futuro to learn more about all new projects in Solano County. We'll be sure to keep you updated on all new developments and El Futuro. Until next time.